Southeastern Bowhunter Podcast.
All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Southeastern Bowhunter Podcast. I'm gonna adjust the thing there a little bit. There we go. Yeah, man. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode with Michael Pitts and Thor. That was honestly a lot of fun, and a lot of good things we're talking about in that podcast. This one's gonna be no different. It's gonna be with Brett from Blue River Bowhunting, and he reached out to me about a week ago. It's been a minute since he's been on, and I was like, dude, I got the week open. We had some scheduling things that we needed to do that I needed to move around, so I was like, you asked at the perfect time, and Brett's always a good guest to get on. So before we get into it, Brett, to see what's been going on. I know he had some success this season, and can't wait to hear those stories. I got some big news for y'all. So it hasn't officially happened yet, but starting in December, January time, the podcast is making a huge change. We are going to start being not only featured on our page, but also we are joining the Sportsman's Empire Network. That is Dan Johnson's podcast network. If you recognize that name, he was on about 2 months ago. He runs Nine Finger Chronicles podcast and Sportsman's Empire. And me and Dan talked, and I feel like it's a really, really good fit for our podcast, or I guess my podcast, to be working with his and going under that umbrella. I'm very excited about it, and I know that 2026 is going to be a big year for this podcast. There's a lot of things that are going to be changing. All improvements. I am going to be updating my laptop. I'm going to be updating my recording software, my recording equipment. We're going to start doing in-person episodes with the whole get up, with cameras, mics, all that stuff. So it seems like the perfect time, especially making the transition to be under the Sportsman's Empire Network, that I need to start upgrading a lot of this stuff. These Zoom calls are great, but I would absolutely love to have a mobile setup and be able to go down to like Realtree Farms and hang out with Michael Pitts and the guys, or get together with some of the local guys, have people come in. As you can see, the studio is not a studio, it's my basement. So we're going to be making some changes down here too, cleaning everything up, getting it where I'm sitting right now. You guys are going to see us sitting back there in the comfy chair and couch. So it's going to be sick, man. I can't wait. This is definitely the push that I needed. And I can't thank all of you guys for, following along, listening, helping support the podcast. This is all happening because of y'all. And obviously because of the Lord, which I will get to. I've actually got some stuff to talk about with that. So before we get into all of that, we got to run through the partners. I'm just going to breeze through them. You guys kind of know everything about them. But I'm going to tell you anyway. So we've got Osteo Gear. That is my camel branded choice. Oh, I do this every episode. If you're new to listening to this podcast, all of the websites for all of these partners are listed down in the description, and all of the discount codes are along with those websites. So definitely use those. It's Christmas time. Black Friday was a couple of days ago. This is actually dropping after Cyber Monday, but you know how things are. These companies love to just run deals as early and as late as they can. So if you got Christmas shopping to do, use these. If you got stuff that you need for yourself, use these. So anyway, Osteo Gear, that is the camo brand of choice that I like to use. It's been working great for me. Gonna be putting my new Wrap X late season stuff to use this Friday. So at the time of recording this is on Tuesday, the whatever the heck date today is. I have absolutely no idea, but this is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So gonna go out Friday on this cold front and see if we can't get a buck on the ground and tag out. Public land was very difficult. Our movement all over has been super, super slow. The heat and the acorns and just everything else. Like, I'm seeing deer, but nothing is daylighted. Everything is at night. And, it's a little discouraging. But with this cold front that's about to pull through, I have a feeling that Friday morning is going to be where it's at. My Osteo Gear is going to keep me nice and warm because it's going to be wind gusts of 22 miles an hour. And pretty sure it's going to be about 30 degrees when I'm sitting in the stand. So, very excited about that. Very thankful for that. I will be using my Summit stand, my Dual Threat Pro SD. If you guys are looking for anything for your Summit, or you want to give Summit a shot, head over to summitstands.com. Let's see. Next up is the Boutique. makes the best arrow wraps in the game, hands down. Don't really have to say much more to that. Bergie Bowsmith, Bow Wizard, also sells excuse me, also sells all of the major brands that we use. So go check him out. G5 Outdoors. I actually have a whole quiver full of mega meats now, and I cannot wait to send one through the pump station again. It's been 3 weeks, and I'm itching. Prime Archery. They've got the new Prime Divide, which you can get from 31-inch ATA to 33 to 35 to 37. It is the same basic platform as my form, but just in different sizes, and it comes in 6-inch and 7-inch brace height. Awesome bow. I'm planning on getting one that is completely decked out in Osseo. At least right now is the plan. So yeah, go check them out. Go check out the new bows and figure out which one fits you. Dialed Archery has the new the Mag 3 VA, which is an adjustable vertical pin scope housing. Dialed always does small batches. They have, in my opinion, the best bow sights on the market. I love my proof, and it is. I mean, it's simple, easy to use, and the toughest sight that I've ever had. Next up is Moultrie. Moultrie cameras are working great. There's just nothing really in front of them. That's kind of been the story of the past couple of weeks. Again, like I said, this cold front I think is going to get them moving, so I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Moultrie also has a new Edge 3 out, and I heard a rumor that the Edge 3 Pro is going to be dropping soon. So be on the lookout for that. We actually, next week, I'm getting Mark Olis from Moultrie to come on here, and we're going to talk all about Moultrie. So you guys are going to get to see pretty much the ins and outs of that entire company and, what got them to where they are. So very excited about that. Next up after them, we've got the Bowhunting League. If you guys want to be a state sponsor, reach out to me or go to thebowhuntingleague.com. And especially if you're in Georgia, it's only $100 a year. You get a ton of perks from it. You get your name put on the back of a T-shirt that every single person who killed a buck and enters it into the league, you get that T-shirt for free. So if you want to be a state sponsor and get your name on there, whether you've got a social media handle for outdoor stuff, YouTube, podcast, taxidermist, processor, archery shop, doesn't matter. You can sign up. Just tell them that we sent you. Next up is Boning Archery. Veins are working great. They're sticking on good. I'm running the alphas this year. 1227 Productions is my buddy Brock's YouTube channel. Go subscribe to him. Let's see here. Scrape Doctor. Actually freshened up some scrapes. A lot of people are telling me scrapes don't matter right now, but I don't. It's not that I don't believe them. I know how this whole scrape stuff works, but the thing is that the Scrape Doctor stuff, they use scrapes year round, and that stuff will keep them coming back. So that is why I've been still continuously, especially after it rains hard or it's been a long time, I will go freshen those up, and stuff works great. And last but not least is going to be Victory Archery. Victory's got a whole new lineup of arrows out. So many I literally cannot remember, but I can tell you guys about the HLR, which is what I'm using, and that is their 205 1.5K carbon weave arrow that I love. I mean, it's like a Rip TKO on steroids. So that's all the partners. You guys tell me about the long intros and all this stuff. Well, I need to talk to you guys about something that I experienced today. I'm not going to get specific out of respect for the people that were there, but at my day job, as you guys know, I do fire inspections. Well, I was doing a fire inspection on this apartment complex today that I'm telling y'all, it was a culture shock. It was not in a good area. The property was extremely run down. There was water leaks everywhere. And there was kids. There was kids running around, like kids living in this stuff. And some apartments didn't have power. Some didn't have water. Some didn't have heat. Some didn't have all three. Had to move a dead kitten this morning because nobody was taking care of it. And the reason I bring this up is because you guys know I always talk to y'all about Jesus and the faith and really try to spread the word and the gospel as much as I can, which is what we're all called to do as Christians. That is our job. And I had I don't want to say revelation, but I had a realization that we are all so blessed. Those of us that are listening to this right now, that have a roof over our heads, that have heat, that have water, that have a loving family, that we don't step outside and wonder, am I going to get shot today? That's the type of place that I was at. I did experience some stuff in the past 2 days that I really did think, this could pop off. I mean, cops were called today because of some stuff. Like I said, I had to take care of this dead kitten that was out there for God knows how long, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. And I saw certain things that I saw and heard things that made me really. It broke my heart. It truly broke my heart. And it's gonna stick with me because it's not. Look, I've seen places that are run down. I've seen all of that, but the people is what gave me hope there. And that's also what broke my heart because a lot of these people were really good, really, really, really sweet people that I think just never got a chance. And a lot of them, I talked to most of them. A lot of them did make mistakes in the past, and they understand that that is why they are where they are. And look, I don't look at their situation and look down on them. I would hope that none of y'all would either. God tells us to love everyone. Some of Jesus's last words were, "Love your neighbor as I have loved you." And yeah, man, it honestly almost brought me to tears because it was just one of those situations where it's like I just want to help these people. I mean, every chance I got, I would try to make their lives easier, try to make them laugh if they were in a bad mood, or help them move stuff or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that for praise. I don't want it. Give all the glory to God. But that's, I think, what we're missing in this world. We all, myself included, all get so selfish and so wrapped up in what's going on in our lives that we don't really realize how good we've got it. And I was driving home today and I'm like, man, I've got an amazing wife, an amazing kid, amazing animals, a house that I don't need to worry if it's just gonna, be breaking down on me every 5 seconds. And when I step out the door, I don't think, I wonder if the neighbor and the other neighbor are fighting again. And then you hear shots. I mean, there was a shooting, like a shootout there last night. It's crazy. And that's the world that we live in right now. And it's because we don't, like, the general populace doesn't know who Jesus is, or they do, and they just don't believe in him. And it's crazy. And I say it's crazy because to me, the change I've seen in my life, that I hope all of you listening that have given Jesus a chance, that you're seeing the changes in your life too. It's not like a transactional thing. It's not like Santa Claus where you go in Santa's lap and you're like, oh, I want a pony, and then you get a pony, right? I ask God for stuff all the time. I don't get it like right at the moment that I ask for it. Sometimes I don't get it at all. And that comes into the faith aspect where it's like, I could, like, I'll give you guys an example. I'll go in the woods, right? And every sit, I have this prayer that I do. And I say, Lord, thank you for letting me come out here first off. Thank you for letting me get the time to be out in your creation. Please just let this hunt be A, successful, B, safe, and C, a way that I can connect with you. Amen. That's usually what I say. Sometimes different words, but that's what I'll say. And there have been times that I have also said, Lord, please just let me kill the biggest buck here. Let me kill whatever buck it is I'm chasing. And the problem is, I think that we get a little too comfortable with the idea of God just being a sky daddy, and that's not what he is. He is the creator of the universe. He is the one who came down in human form when he didn't have to, took on all of our sin so that we could spend more, or spend eternity with him when our time here is up. And he's not an absent God. He's around all the time. I saw him today in a lot of the people that I was with. And I just it's I have this burning feeling inside to tell you guys this because every week I'll be like, oh, well, if you give Jesus your heart and all of that, and you get this, you get that. I don't like how transactional it can sound, and it's not. We are called to try to bring as many people to Christ as we can, bear fruit from our faith by doing works, right? Jesus said that you will be able to tell who his people are by their fruit of their faith. And that's paraphrasing, but if you do good things, that's awesome. But unless you have faith in Christ, you're not living up to your full potential. That is basically what I'm getting at. A life with Christ is so much more fulfilling than a life without. Okay. As somebody who knows the difference, I can promise you that. So, yeah, I would ask that you guys pray for the people living there. There was a water pipe busted, and like I said, the cops were called. There's a lot of things going on. The maintenance guys were super stressed out. One of them literally passed out this morning when he got up to come to work. His high blood pressure, and then he showed up anyway. Now, if that's not someone that you need to respect the crap out of, dude, I gave him all of my respect. Um, and the other guy did 2 tours in Iraq. All right, so these are some really good dudes, and it's just sad. It's just sad to see people living in that condition. And I'm not saying this to make it seem like the place is not suitable, but I gotta be honest, it's kind of not. So please keep them in your prayers. I know I'm going to be praying for him tonight, even though I've already been praying for him. I truly believe that God can do something. I know He knows about that whole situation. Obviously, He knows everything, but I know that He sees what those people are going through. And some of the people that showed me their faith today was refreshing, and it emboldened my faith for sure. So I hope you guys listening to this too can feel that. Again, they don't need your pity; they just need your prayers. Because give it up to the Lord and see what He does. I know He's got a plan for that place. So yeah, that is my preacher moment. I'm very sorry if you guys think this is a very long intro, but I ain't done one in a while. There's been a lot going on, and today was one of those days where, you know what, I got to get it out. So hopefully you guys didn't skip this. I know Brett's waiting on us. Let's get started with Brett from Blue River. My good buddy Brett from Blue River Bowhunting on again. This was actually kind of a last minute episode, and I'm here for it. I am definitely here for it. I've been wanting to get you back on, and you know how crazy life has gotten over here. So I'm glad that you reached out. I'm glad we were able to do it. Before we dive into everything we were just talking about, Wisconsin and going out of state and all that stuff, what has been going on with you? Because I know you had some success this year, and
Absolutely.
I want to hear about it.
Was able to harvest a buck opening day of Indiana firearm season. Where I was at, I could legally shoot at like 657, and I pulled the trigger at like 703. It was like the first couple, like when I text Big Buck down to my group chat, they were like, already? Like, how did you even see it? Which was crazy because this particular property, I had bow only permission and had some buddies coming up from Tennessee that was hunting with us that weekend, and I decided to get a hold of the landowner and ask if I could gun hunt, and
Yeah,
got a surprising answer out of it. I said, I don't. I only have one other place that's I'm able to gun hunt, and it's got some people on it this weekend. Would you mind if I gun hunted? Absolutely. Go ahead. You're about the brother-in-law has permission as well, and I guess he'd only been there a couple times. I'd only really been there a couple times, so the pressure wasn't really high on the place. And turns out the guy listens to my podcast. Had no idea that the guy was like, knew anything or knew about the podcast or anything like that.
yeah,
And and lo and behold, I still had a setup in there for my saddle, just a sticks and a platform. Got up in the tree, and it bing bang boom, it happened right off the get go. He came in through an island of trees, and it was so dark, really, from the sun not coming up, and it was cloudy and everything. I couldn't really tell what it was. It looked like a buck body wise. And
yeah,
he came through that island and turned his head, and I was like, "Oh, he's getting shot." So I grabbed my gun, and it's wild. I always thought my first deer out of a saddle would come with my bow, but
yeah,
it didn't. It came with a gun, which Blue River bow hunt. You would think I only bow hunt, but I had went to Missouri the week prior to that season and shot a nice buck and couldn't find it. So I was kind of down in the dumps, kind of tail tucked between my legs, and decided to whip out the gun. I hadn't shot a deer with a gun in a long time, and just happened to play out that way. We green scored it ourselves. It scored 127 inches,
hey,
10
I'd
pointer.
be happy with it.
Oh, absolutely! I was
That's a
thrilled. I
good
was
deer,
tickled.
dude.
I was tickled pink, man.
Yeah, especially out of the saddle too. I mean, it is funny when you hear saddle, you immediately think of bow hunting, and I don't really know why. I've never hunted out of one,
Hmm.
but I do kind of feel like saddle hunting is almost a strictly bow hunting thing. Like I know there's guys that do it with guns and muzzle loaders and stuff like that, but it I don't know. Every video on YouTube, when you look at a saddle setup, they're like, all right, and remember when you set this up, shoot your bow out of it because it's different. Like no one ever
Right.
talks about shooting a gun out of it. So
And it was different. It was different shooting a gun out of it, but I just kind of leaned forward and put like from the receiver back against the tree. And I had a
yeah,
steady hold, made a great shot. He didn't run 40 yards. I couldn't see him because he like went around this corner. And it's a corner of it was beans this year, but a corner of a field, and I couldn't see around the other side, but I didn't
yeah,
see him run through there. So immediately, after having the deal that I had happen in Missouri, I was kind of down. I'm like, oh man, what happened? He looked hit when I pulled the
yeah,
trigger, so I knew that I at least made contact, and he didn't even make it around that corner. When I got down, I found there was blood everywhere, and I was like, "There's no way that deer made it very far." And he didn't. I just couldn't see because there's one of the biggest oak trees I've ever seen in my life right in front of me, and he had ran around the corner. When he ran past that oak tree, he just went face to the ground. And it was awesome, man. It was really it was. I haven't shot a deer with a gun since 2018.
oh wow,
Yeah, it felt kind of good. I mean, I
yeah,
love bow hunting, but to be able to reach and it's crazy. The shot that I made on the deer, I could have shot it with my bow. It was like a 30-yard shot.
yeah,
But it was still fun, man. I had a blast and heading to West Virginia this weekend. I went over there one time already in October. Had an encounter with a 130, maybe 140-inch 8 point. And he's been showing himself up on cam quite a bit in the last week and a half. So hopefully he shows up this weekend when I go over there and visit my buddy and kind of spend Thanksgiving weekend with kind of my second family. They've kind of adopted me over there in West Virginia. These people are some of the nicest people you could ever meet. They want me to come as much as possible. It's like 110 acres or something like that, and I can hunt it. Turkey hunting over there is unbelievable.
yeah.
And with me buying like a base license, my archery tag was like $30. And he's like, dude, come and gun hunt this weekend for Thanksgiving. So I asked the wife about it. I'm like, would you care if I go over to West Virginia this weekend? I know I've been gone a lot. She's like, no, go for it. Hopefully, get you another one down. I'm like, awesome. I'm on my way, buddy.
That's that's such a good wife. Yeah, mine wanted to kill me, which with good reason, because I just had a 2 day public land hunt for a quota hunt down here.
Hmm.
Totally pointless to go. There was 200, so every year they have it, right? And it's 15 minutes from the house. I always put in for it.
Hmm.
And so it was the second one of the year. So the first one, they killed one of my good buddies, tagged out the first morning and
Nice.
killed two very respectable deer. Um, and then the next day, because it's only a 3 day hunt, I could only go 2 days, because of work and stuff. But
Hmm.
um, dude, the third day, this guy killed like a massive, massive 12 point. And I've been telling people for years since I started this podcast that specific public land can produce giants. I've seen a 160-inch 10 point over there. I know what it can produce. There's not a lot of them. There's a lot of deer, but there's not a lot of big, mature, just massive like booners, basically.
Hmm.
And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, dude, I can't wait for this second hunt. I go the week before on the archery hunt, don't see a thing. Really felt like a rookie because it took me like 45 minutes to find a tree. And I was in a good spot. I was on like a good terrain transition. I had cut pines behind me with a nice little fire break that went into this, little field that's next to a swamp. And I'm in the oak flat on top of a ridge, or not oak flat, but like, mixed hardwoods on top of a
Hmm.
ridge. To my right is a pine thicket. So I'm like, dude, there's scrapes right there. I know I'm sorry, there's rubs right there. There's scrapes, off down to my left. I'm like, dude, I'm in the perfect spot. Nothing, not a single thing. Oh, and it was also 75 degrees. Um,
That's the worst.
oh, it gets worse. So go to that hunt with one of my buddies. We don't see a thing. And so I immediately write that spot off. And I'm like, okay, they probably aren't going to be moving through this. And this was kind of if you listen to the episode with Michael Pitts and Thor, we talk about like how weird Georgia season's been this year
Hmm.
because it was normal up until like the end of October. And the acorns came in late, but once they came in, they're still falling. I mean,
That's crazy.
I went out yesterday to put food out over at one of my spots that I'm hunting Friday, and I almost got taken out by a cluster of acorns falling from a tree 60 foot up. I mean, it's insane. And so I went on that second quota hunt, and dude, I went to the one spot. I went to the same spot that I saw that giant buck a few years back. I saw a pig and like 15 fox squirrels. I think in total, the 5 hours I was there, I heard 3 shots.
Wow.
Yeah. And then so I go the next day. It's even warmer. I see nothing that morning. I'm in the same spot. And this on that Saturday, I was planning on being mobile. So I go to the spot just because it's easy access, it's easy in. I know deer will be there. Or well, in the past year have been there, right? So I'm kind of holding to that. And sun comes up, I don't see a thing. I hear probably 2 or 3 shots, and I'm just like, dude, this is insane. It's November. Why is it so bad? And basically got down, went to this beautiful, beautiful river bottom, tons of oaks, perfect setup. I mean, I guarantee you, if I put a camera in there, you're gonna see a million deer run through this place. Didn't see a single thing because it was just so hot. And then a storm ran or came through, and I think total in the 3-day hunt, out of 200 people that go, 9 deer were killed.
That's crazy. We've kind of had something similar weather-wise here, but normally we lose our leaves, or 90% of our leaves around that Halloween time when there's always like you get a lot of rain sort of in that time period, early November, and we really didn't lose our leaves until like mid last week, which is crazy because usually when gun comes in, the leaves are already gone. And when I left for Missouri, I hunted that property where I killed that buck, and I still had real good cover with the leaves and stuff where I had that set up. And when I came back, I was like, "Oh, I can see a lot farther now because all the
Yeah.
leaves are gone," which was pretty crazy. But yeah, we never really got a cold spell, a big cold spell.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Early, especially in bow. We never really got cold in bow season. And then, like you said, our gun opener was like 74 degrees or something like that. I heard probably 10 shots after I shot, and dragging my buck to the truck and all that. But normally it's like World War III over there. I hear 2 dozen shots, and
Yeah.
I hardly heard anything really.
Well, and that's I for the longest time was trying to figure out, because the one spot that it's funny, you actually gave me crap for it today, but the spot that had all those
Right.
bucks had completely dried up, man. And like I couldn't figure out what it was. And so when I went to go pick up the buck that I did kill last Friday, I was talking to the taxidermist because he's very well plugged in when it comes down to what our deer in this area do.
Hmm.
So if I ever see something or have questions, I'll go to him and be like, "Hey, man, this is what I'm seeing. What do you think? Like, why do you think this is happening?" And when he told me, he was like, "Look, I've had one other year like this because his property always, always, always will have at least one or two 150 plus inch deer." And he said that he hasn't seen a single one this year. He's like, "I know where they're at because they're down in this little oak bottom that they just don't need to leave. They've got all these acorns falling. There's plenty of cover. There's no way anyone can get in there cleanly." He's like, and they're just hanging out in there. They don't need to leave. All the deer are in there. So in that little section, yeah, these bucks are probably chasing all these does, but they're not leaving to go find more. There's no need to.
Right.
And it made me think because I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense. That explains why the church is gone. That and I had some camera issues. An older camera of mine was, I think, making noises when it was taking videos.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I could send you a video right now, or I could send you 3 videos right now of 3 different bucks that when they walk in front of that thing, they jump and like they hear something. They look directly at that camera. I've gone in front of it. I don't hear anything, but I know that certain cameras can put out weird frequencies and stuff, so maybe they're hearing it.
Right.
I don't know, but it's gotten me to the point I'm already looking towards next season and then the year after that because I mean we have a cold front coming this week and I'm hoping it does something, but unless two potential properties that I'm working on say yes, I may not see another deer all season. Even if I go to public, I still might not see anything. So it's just one of those weird years, man. And I've been on the acorns. I've gone where I think they are, and they're just not there. So
We had when I was giving you a little bit of heck about that, my experiences with properties that I have the bucks all summer long on camera come the beginning of September, mid September, they disappear and
Yeah.
they hardly ever come back. But if they do come back, that's the one that typically stays close. It may be a bully kind of buck where, like when another buck even gets close to that core area, he's just pushing them out of there, and you may get like a hot doe or something in November or end of October where you see a couple of different bucks that you hadn't seen before come in there. But that's just the experience I've had. That's why I sometimes in the summer when everybody's showing me, I got these big bucks. It's like I haven't got anything on camera yet, and I'm okay with it. I'm good with
Yeah.
it for now. Come October, that may be a little different if I don't have anything, and then I might start getting concerned.
Yeah. Well, and that so it's funny you say that because like there is one deer that's sticking around. He's not showing up in daylight. He shows up always middle of the night. I think the closest time in the past month because he did daylight a month ago. But the closest time that he was to daylight since then has been like 6:50, I think. And I mean that's an hour after the sun goes down, you know?
Wonder if
And
it's a pressure thing, not necessarily from you, but maybe from how big is
yeah,
the place?
you see, we have like me and Brock have really dove deep into this, and I've explained every single situation, every single scenario, everything that I have done, and he did say he thinks it might be pressure related. But we also have a theory that this specific buck might be a bully buck because he was a big like massive frame, and now he's all broken up. I mean, I'd still shoot him, but he's broken up, and like ever since he was broken, I haven't seen any other bucks showing up. I mean, there's
Yeah,
one
he
fight.
might just might
There,
have been fighting everything it walked. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I don't know. I'm really hoping this cold front and me not being in there, and then we've got a lot of rain coming tonight, so I'm hoping that causes these acorns to start rotting, so they come back to the feed. Because
Hmm.
this time last year, dude, I had still 6 different shooters on that property, and no matter
Wow.
what kind of food I put out, they would eat it. Now I also was hunting it way more, so the pressure definitely was on them, but they still didn't just disappear.
All right.
So it's been weird, man. I've thought about just doing an observation sit just to see if I'm missing something.
All right.
Because I mean, at this point, what do I have to lose? Like I've got a deer in the freezer. I would have definitely liked to kill more, but that just might not be in God's plan. So
It might be one of those things too, where you take the pressure off of not going in there, and then you decide to go in there with the observation set or whatever. I would still take a weapon
oh yeah,
just
definitely.
in case, But then they all of a sudden maybe pressure comes from somewhere else, wherever they have been, and they come back into where you're at. Maybe they come looking for the food that you've been putting out.
Yeah,
Then you pull it off later than expected. Like I know a lot of people get so hung up on hunting the rut, the pre-rut, whatever. Some of the best hunting here where I live is late season.
yeah,
When everything kind of calms down, the bucks and everybody they're not chasing and stuff like they were, and then the food sources are unreal. I mean, it's nothing for me to drive around the block on some of these cornfields and stuff and see 20 or 30 deer in some of these fields just because they're just hammering the food afterwards.
yeah. I mean that is definitely what I'm banking on because if not, like I said, I'll be watching squirrels and looking at trail cameras and trying public and probably not seeing anything there either because the only public I can hunt now is a 200-acre DNR headquarter piece that,
Hmm.
as far as I know, not a lot of people hunt it. And I did hear a rumor about a 140 that people were seeing over there, but
Hmm.
you know how rumors are. I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's never the truth. I have heard it from 2 different people, but I just got to take them at their word. So we'll see. I mean, we were talking before we hopped on here about next year and how I'm going to Wisconsin,
Hmm.
and that I looked up the county that I'm going to be in, and I think, and I'm not saying I'm going to kill this deer, but I think the county record was like 215, and then in the surrounding counties, the biggest one was like 237.
Yeah, they get big up
So
there, and it's crazy because their population, as far as herd population goes, is unbelievable there.
oh yeah,
It was nothing for me to see almost 40 deer sit in Wisconsin in 2020 when I went up there.
dude,
I
and
mean,
see,
just one after another. I passed multiple 130s because I'd seen like the first day I was there, I was hunting bluff country off the Mississippi River, big ravines and draws and stuff. And the first day I sat there, I saw probably a 170 chasing a doe down one of them draws. So automatically I was like, man, I would love to shoot something like that. So I
Yeah.
passed on a couple of the younger deer, and I kind of regretted it at the end. I was like, man, I probably should have shot that 130 like the first day I was sitting here, but it was hard because it was also my first sit there, and I
Yeah.
wanted to experience. I still had 3 other days or whatever it was to hunt, but Wisconsin, man, it's an unbelievable place to deer hunt.
Well, and I mean, look at like the DeQuistos and stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
Andre built a lot of his reputation on Wisconsin deer, Iowa deer. I mean,
Hmm.
that whole area, man. And like, I don't even really care what shows up, but I will say, like, I'm not gonna just shoot a spike because if
No, I wouldn't
I
do
gotta
that there.
debone it and like transport it, I'm not doing all that.
From what you're
And
going to put into the travel wise of it, and I know
yeah,
how far you're going to have to travel from Georgia to there.
a 19-hour
Um,
drive.
yeah, I was gonna say because it's where I hunted. It's 9 hours or so, 10 hours from my house, and
Yeah,
I'm every bit of 9 hours from your house.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like, but I would definitely, I would skip out on shooting the younger deer because
yeah.
the deer management there and some of the age class deer that you're gonna see, it'll really blow your mind because you're used to hunting them southern deer, them northern
Yeah.
deer. That's a whole other game, man.
Well, and it's funny you said that because like, did you listen to the whole episode with Pitts and Thor?
I haven't made it through the whole episode yet,
Okay, I
but I'm
won't spoil
halfway
it.
through it or so.
I won't spoil it, but we do get to a point where we talk about Georgia deer versus everywhere else
Hmm.
and how different they are. And it does make me wonder because like when my stepdad was up there 2 weeks ago, I think it was really funny, honestly. He went up there on a scouting mission for me because I couldn't make it, and he has
Hmm.
no idea what he's looking for because he doesn't hunt. So he
Right.
calls me like a week before. He's like, "All right, man, give me the rundown. What do I need to find?" I was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, you just healed up from a back surgery, your second one. You were telling me that your knees were hurting the other day. I was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, it'll be fine. I'll just, I'll go up there and I'll look around." I'm like, "Okay." So I sent him a whole list. I'm like, "Look for this. This is called a rub. Look for this. This is called a scrape. If you're driving through and you see a deer, kind of try to remember where it was. If it's anywhere near this property, let me know. Let me know the
Hmm.
direction. Let me know if he's got game cameras up there. If the property owner's got game cameras." And turns out, I think he said that he does actually have trail cameras.
Hmm.
The bad part is when he got there, the property owner ended up having a heart attack like
Oh
the
wow.
day he got there. So they spent the whole day in the hospital. Dude's perfectly fine. But he never got to go up there. But he did tell me, he's like, we were dodging deer left and right. And he got to see one of those albino deer that live up there, like a really decent buck. And he was like, "Yeah, man, they got these albinos up here." I was like, "Yeah, I can't shoot those. Like as much as I would love to, it's illegal to shoot those deer." So that part sucked. But I'm excited, man. I mean, I'll be honest, I am excited about that. But what I'm really excited for, I got a call, and this is actually the first time anybody outside of my wife and two other people know about this. But in 27, I got invited to go on a public land mule deer hunt in
Nice.
Colorado. So
Nice.
yeah, this thing right here, I'm quitting. This is my last one. I'm
Oh,
publicly saying it. Um, and for the people watching, this big old thing right there, I'm throwing away.
you don't want to see
Um,
mine.
dude, I'm about to like really try to get as close to a 30-year-old, or I guess at that point I'll be 32, but a 32-year-old Cam Haines. Like I've had terrible cardio my entire life. As soon as I'm able to fully get off of these things, um, yeah, I'm hitting it hard because like I talked to my uncle that lives out there because we've been trying to plan a muley hunt for, dude. Let's see, I've been with Jessica almost 8 years, probably 7 years, and it's always one thing after another. It's, oh, I forgot to put in for the tag, right? Or, oh, I can't afford to, or he doesn't bow hunt. Like it's an archery hunt. Like this dude hasn't bow hunted in God knows how long. His bow is like from the 80s. And
Dang.
I've shot it. I mean, it feels fine, but it's like he called me up and I was like, all right, here's the deal. I was like, I got you on arrows. I got you on broadheads. I have a backup bow I can bring. It's the same brand that you've got. What else do we need? And he's like, whoa, easy, man. He's like, this 2 years out. He's like, we got time. I was like, you can't call me on one of my dream hunts that I've always wanted to do and expect me not to freak out. And yeah, man, I'm excited, but there's got to be major life changes, because when I
That
did
and
feel
just
that,
gear changes as well,
yeah,
right? Like if say if somebody was to call me today and it was like a couple months from now, like it would be drastic for me to change my bow setup from from here. My furthest shot might be 40 yards.
hmm
When you get up in the mountains like that, it's a whole nother ball game. I would almost want to switch to like a one pin dial and be able to shoot 70 yards or something like that. You know what I mean? Oh, you're
I
good
can't
then.
figure,
All
I
right,
can't
there
figure
you
it
go.
out. There we go,
Right.
right there.
That's awesome. I've always stuck with the 3 pin here,
Yeah.
20, 30, 40, because I mean, there is stands that I hunt where I would have further shots than that. I don't take them, but
Mhm.
if I was in a situation like that, I would definitely want to be able to shoot
Oh,
further
yeah.
than that.
Yeah. I mean, this summer I've already decided like I'm 100% gonna be hitting exactly where I'm aiming. No excuses, no BS at 100 yards because muley, like, dude, even when I was hunting public this year, unknowingly, a lot of my shots where these deer tend to have come from in the past, I thought when I set up in the dark and I knew where it was, I thought it was like a 20, 30 yard shot. It ended up being like 40, 45, which I'm dialed at, but it's like,
Yeah, for sure.
holy crap. Like, it's Georgia. You never think you're going to do that. But then you range it and you're like, oh my God, I need to be in the middle of this, not where I'm at, but it's too late to get down.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I'm super stoked. I mean,
Oh, I would be geeked out on that.
yeah. Well, and I'm thinking like, do I want to go? Because I don't know when I'd go back, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, it may never get to go back.
Exactly. And I've always said like a mule deer, caribou, and blacktail. Those are the three like bucket list hunts. So the fact I'll get to do one, um, I don't know if I want to be picky or if I just want to shoot like a nice forky,
Well, like even a small mule deer
is huge.
is big
Yeah.
in my opinion. I actually had a buddy that was just over there a couple weeks ago. He was rifle hunting, and he sent me a picture up on the hillside, and this mule deer is at like 50 yards, if that. And I was like, "Why are you not pulling the trigger on that?" And he started sending me trail cam pics from out
Yeah.
there with deer that are well over 200 inches.
Oh yeah.
And this thing was maybe, a 120 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, shoot it.
Well, not good. See, the thing about Colorado, and I think why I wanted to go there is the Broder buck, the world record muley that some people say when they first green scored it was over 400 inches,
Oh my God.
but the official score is 355. And so I'm like, I'm not saying I want that. I mean, I do want that, but I don't
Right.
need that. But if I can find a 200, even a 180 typical, bro, I when I was there in January, we were at the rifle range with the kids, and as we were leaving, there were two at minimum 170-inch muleys, like 60 yards from me, just feeding on the road. And I'm like, I need to move here. Like, look, I like whitetails, I do,
Uh,
but if I could change what I do to mule deer only, I would do it in a heartbeat. They're
I
way
hear it's
cooler to
addicting
me.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's actually kind of funny because I was telling my uncle, I'm like, you know what you just did, right? I was like, because that type of hunting, spot and stock hunting, with my ADD, the way that it is, that is way better than just sitting in a stand. Like, dude, I'm
Right.
so fidgety, especially in my climber. Like, I'm so fidgety when I'm in my climber that I'll stand up, I'll move, I'll lean on the tree, I'll change my leg position, I'll put my arm on one side, then I'll put it down, then I'll kind of fiddle with my bow a little bit. I can't help it. I don't mean to do it. How I kill deer out of that thing, I have no idea. But then when I'm in the hang on, I'm good because I'm just sitting there and I can kind of like fiddle my thumbs a little bit. Um, so yeah, man, it's gonna be, and I've tried spot and stock over here. It's impossible. Um, it's so thick that I there's just no way. I've only seen two deer when I've done that, and I was not prepared for it because I just didn't think I'd see anything.
Right.
But yeah, out there is going to be nice. It's just everybody listening and YouTube, Brett, just know that in 27, if I say, all right, guys, last episode before the mule deer hunt, and y'all don't hear anything from me, it's because I died of a heart attack on the mountainside.
I don't blame you one bit, man.
Yeah. because I mean, when we went there in January, dude, we were at like at his house. I think we were 6,000 foot elevation, and we drove. I mean, he lives. Well, no, it's probably about an hour actually. It's weirder out there because you can see where you're going.
Right.
It takes 2 hours to get there. And it's just
Right.
like it's
Just think
only
about
15
that when
miles.
you're stalking one.
Yeah, well, don't remind me of that. But
uh,
yeah, dude, we went and scouted the mountains, and I saw some pretty decent muleys up there. And
that's cool, man.
I hopped out, and we were probably another 2 to 3 thousand foot up. And so now we're at like 8, 9 thousand foot which is basically where we're gonna be. And I mean, just walking from where we parked, because basically what we were doing, we weren't really scouting for deer. We were scouting for like some shooting range that I guess he knew about.
Hmm.
Dude, from the 100-yard walk from the truck to where the shooting range was, I was gassed. And it's not because it was hard. It was a straight flat line, but because of the elevation change, it was I just wasn't used to it.
That and the
So
oxygen's a little bit thinner too.
yeah, and it's gonna be completely different. Like I'm gonna have to take an entire different setup, all my sight tapes probably,
Hmm.
and figure out like, okay, here at 500 above sea level or whatever, my 40-yard pin is on this, but then add another 7,500 feet. Where am I at now? It's probably gonna be way off. So
Right.
yeah, it's gonna be different, man. But I'm stoked. I was actually shocked that my wife was cool with it because I'll be gone for a week next year, then I'll be gone for another week the year after. She might be coming though. She might end up staying at their place and then
Oh, that'd be cool. At least
go.
you get to, kind of invite them on a trip of a lifetime like that with you.
Well, so trip of a lifetime is a little bit of a stretch just because
A
they'd be
bucket
staying at my
list
uncle's
trip then.
place. Yeah. No, we'd be leaving them. Like we would be going and
Right.
taking the fifth wheel and going to the mountains, and the girls, and the kids would just stay back. Um, but overall, man, it's exciting. I mean, I I don't know, like, so let me ask you this. Let me sort of change gears here. When you hunt out of a saddle, or I'm assuming you use saddles and hang-ons, right?
Yeah, I have everything. It's
Okay,
kind of like a tool chest, and whatever I choose at that particular time or choose to go with is what I go with. I take
got it,
usually if I go out of state, all those things come with me.
got it.
Yep.
So when you're using your hang-on,
Hmm.
are you doing kind of the lone wolf method where you're maybe 10 foot up and just completely covered, or are you going like way up?
I'm going at least 15 to 18 feet, probably as high
Okay.
as I use aiders too now,
Yeah.
and I can get every bit of 18 feet with using one aider.
Okay. Because the reason I asked is I've gotten in this mindset of getting away from climbers and switching over to hang-ons only.
Hmm.
Which thankfully Summit makes a hang-on. I don't know how heavy it is or how big it is yet, but um, because I saw this post in, I think it's Mobile Hunters United or something like that, Mobile Hunters Community or whatever, and some dude posted a photo of he one sticked it where he had one stick with an aider and he was like
Yeah.
eye level with you know where his stand was, and he's like, hey, who else does this? And I know Cody DeQuisto and a couple other guys do that, and I mean my hang-on's only 12 foot up, I think.
Hmm.
And there's something about that like I've really started thinking about just taking one stick with an aider and going and just find, because you can't get skylined when you do that.
Hmm.
You can get in the thick stuff. I even saw some posts. These guys didn't even have any sticks. They just took their stands in there and they found a tree that's got like multiple branches and stuff, and they just hung it on one of the branches. And when you sit in that, there's no way the deer. I mean, I guess the deer could see you if they're like right in front of you, but there's
Hmm.
so many things around you, you just can't get seen. When you were in Wisconsin, was it kind of thick up there? Do you think that method would work? I mean, I know Cody and them do that, but
It was thick where I was at in particular spots. Um, but I was still, like I said, 18 feet. And like I said, I was hunting late October. And I caught a huge cold front. It had 6 inches of snow on the ground. Like it was one of those kind of deals. But normally when I set a lock on, or any stand for that matter, climber, saddle, whatever, I go with whatever where I'm going to have a good background. say it's 10 foot off the ground,
Yeah.
say it's 12 foot off the ground. I'm trying to put myself where I have a good backdrop, where I'm not going to get skylighted. And it's just all situational for me. A lot of that kind of stuff is situational for me. But like you said, hanging those lock-ons on those limbs. When I saddle hunt, sometimes I pick those kind of trees on purpose because I can get higher without using any sticks. I just start climbing branches.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun sometimes.
Do you stay tied in when you do that?
No, I actually have to unhook my lineman's belt to get over some of those branches. But if I'm standing on a branch, I mean, make sure that I'm good before I unhook it,
Yeah.
obviously. But a lot of those times I unhook it and put it above the next branch. That way I can keep going. And I feel a lot safer because I'm standing there and I'm not dangling from my stick or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times
I
it's
don't
kind of
know.
like a hybrid deal. I wear my saddle because I feel more comfortable climbing
Yeah.
trees with it. Like I can hook a lineman's belt into my hunter safety system, but I feel
Yeah.
like I'm more functionable with it using it on my saddle because my saddle's got all these pockets and I got all kinds of stuff in all those pockets, and it's utility wise feels easier to me.
Well, and can't you use a saddle as a quote unquote like safety harness? Because I
Yeah,
know
you
I've
can
seen
do
Lee
that.
and them do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's
Mhm.
the route I'll go. Because I mean, I like my harness and all, but honestly, I don't know if it's the weight gain or what it is, but I've caught myself standing there and, my belly's kind of poking out a bit. And I'm like, oh, you weren't there before. And it's like, yo, like, dude, this thing used to fit. What happened? Yeah, I don't know. I need to make a change, honestly, because I love the security of a climber, but I hate the bulkiness of it. That's the biggest thing. Like when I
For
go
sure.
Friday, I've got a stand or a tree that I've already pre-picked out. I've hunted out of it. I honestly hated hunting out of it because it was just not really that good. But it's got more cover around it and it's behind the tree that I killed my buck out of.
Hmm.
Now that they're not hitting scrapes, I don't really need, or I shouldn't say not hitting scrapes. They're not consistently hitting them. They're not rutting here anymore. At least that's what I'm
Right.
seeing. And so I'm planning on just kind of tucking in. I'll only be 12 foot up. I mean, last time I did that, I had deer all under me in the dark and then they just disappeared, which is typical. Um, but yeah, I really do sort of want to get away from like using climbers more often than I do right now.
Hmm.
Um, just because I prefer a hang on, dude. They're so much more comfortable, and I don't have
And
to stand.
some of
Like,
those, mobile lock-on setups are freaking pretty cool. I mean, mine's not bad either. I
yeah,
have an XOP that I put the shoulder straps on. I'm able to hook my backpack to the back of it, and I keep my sticks on that backpack. And like I said, I like using my saddle for these situations. I have a carabiner on each hip, and
mhm,
then I have paracord like loops on those sticks, so I can kind of just click them into those carabiners, and as I'm climbing, I'm pulling sticks off and going. And I only use 4 sticks, and I use the XOP X2 sticks, and they're only like 12 ounces a piece or something like. I mean, it's
yeah,
like I'm carrying hardly anything. And if I'm using just my saddle stuff, my platform's like 2 pounds. So
yeah,
some of that stuff does start to add up and will be just as heavy as your climber, but is definitely not as bulky.
yeah. That well, and that's the like I'll just go outright and say it. I have said to Summit in the past, and I'm not calling them out. They make a good stand, and I love the one that I have, but I have kind of pointed out to him like, guys, we need something for the mobile hunter. Like, yeah, okay, you got the open shot, and it definitely can work, but the platform's still big. I mean, if they made something like I'm trying to remember what it's called, it's like the Summit Mini Viper, where it's got the really small platforms.
Yep.
Take that platform, and take the open shot, or take an even smaller version of that, kind of like what XOP did with their climber, or what Lone Wolf did with theirs, and just slim it down where you
Hmm.
don't have to, have like these bars around you. I mean, yeah, people like that for security, but when you're a bow hunter, I prefer to shoot sitting down.
Hmm.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I've been trying. I don't know what they're going to drop at ATA this year, if anything. And if they drop something like that, I'm definitely going to get it. But if they don't, I'll probably get some of their hang-ons and just be like, look, this is the route that I'm going. I mean, I'd
And
much rather be tucked away. I could tell you three different setups right now at that one spot that I had all those bucks at.
mhm.
That if because I also haven't been using a hang on for a long time, So I'm not totally versed in it yet. If I was, I would have been mobile over there and just changing, with the wind and like setting up in the thick stuff and not trying to get way high up, which there's nothing wrong with it. But I've been trying to do that and it hasn't worked. And every time I've sat somewhere that's kind of thick around, or maybe I'm not as high up, I've killed something. So I don't know. It's plus I don't really like heights. I'm not really a heights guy. So
I hear that, that's probably one of the most um, craziest things I've heard over the past several, 6 years or so now of having a
yeah,
podcast. I hear that from hunters more than you would believe that they're scared of heights. Not
yeah,
that it's a bad thing. I understand it, not something that I'm technically scared of, but I
right,
get it. You know what I mean? Like a guy I just had on my show, Stephen Fisher from Missouri, he said that he shot a buck out there this year, like 8 foot off the ground.
yeah,
And shot it was like a 140-inch deer. And he just went in that morning and set up a mobile lock on. And he said the time he got up in the tree and stuff, he realized he was only about 8 foot off the ground, but
yeah.
it worked for him.
Well, that seems to be something that I mean, same thing here, dude. I have really been paying attention a lot to what Cody DeQuisto does and
Hmm.
says, and like because I don't know if you see his stuff on YouTube, but he's got a bunch of videos out where he's talking about his gear and how he sets up, and then he's talking about scent control and he's talking about camo and what the deer see and all this other stuff. And there's no what's the right word? There's no BS behind it. It's literally just like he did one on scent control. Dude, I mean, honestly, everything he said was true. I can think of one company that I know of for a fact that I still use that they have tested this specific thing on police dogs, like drug dogs,
Hmm.
and the dog could not find the guy. But they're not small, but they are slowly getting bigger. But no one really knows about them. And it's like, okay, that can maybe work. But even then, I've used their stuff for years. I still have gotten winded. So
Yeah, it's hard to beat that nose, man.
yeah, Cody's 100% right. I mean,
Is that the guy with the dreads?
yeah, Andre
Yeah.
DeCristo's son,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I
dude.
have paid attention. I see him more. I think it's on TikTok. I think I've been seeing him on there quite a bit. I could be wrong. Maybe it's Facebook. I don't remember. I'm on one of those recently. I've been seeing a lot of his content.
Yeah, he's definitely changed my mind on a lot of the way I go about it. Because dude, a lot of the stuff that like the scent control stuff, it's all a gimmick. You're never going to beat somebody or the deer's nose. You're just not. I mean, you can do things. I firmly believe the stuff that I use kind of helps.
Hmm.
But when it's 75 degrees in November and you think it's going to be cold, and then you go out there and it's not, and you still climb 20 foot up in a tree, well, you're sweating like crazy. I was dripping sweat last weekend, and I
For
I
sure.
used the entire thing, and I was just covered in this cloud because it's a dust. It's not the spray on stuff, and
Hmm.
so like it clings to you, and then it soaks all that up. But then if it soaked it up, well, the scent's got to go somewhere, so then you got to do it again, and it works. It works pretty well, but it's not bulletproof. None of
Hmm.
it is bulletproof. So yeah, he's been a big influence on me this year with hanging the stands lower, being more mobile, and not really buying into like all the other stuff. I mean, he doesn't even wear camo. Cody wears flannel,
Yeah, I've
and
seen
that
that.
yeah, that for me is like I love Osio gear, but sometimes it can be hot. Now, I honestly I do have early season and late season stuff, so it's really not that bad. But it would be kind of cool to kill something in flannel. Like,
That would be kind of cool,
yeah,
especially in
like
like Wisconsin.
yeah, well, and I have kind of been playing with the idea of bringing some flannel up there and just wearing Osio pants, and then like the flannel jacket.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. I don't know. But it's weird, man. Like, I've had arguments with buddies of mine down here that are just 30 foot or higher. And that's not even in a climber. That's in like a saddle or a hang on. And I just look at him like, dude, you're freaking crazy. 30
It's all
foot?
preference, man. There's so much preference in the hunting game.
Yeah.
People can get so up in arms about some of the stupidest stuff. Some of the people that I talk to on my show that are absolute killers that kill really big deer year in and year out, they don't, yes, they play the win, they try to do that, but it's not like they scent wash their clothes or they spray
Yeah.
down before they go in the woods or they even keep anything like it just, it's hanging in their garage and they throw it on before they leave. I mean,
Yeah.
some people, I used to be one of those people. I used to not even get dressed until I got there and then pulled my scent bag out of the back of the truck and got dressed on the spot. And
They're
then
like
when I
your
would get done hunting, I would put it right back in that bag. And now I'm not like that anymore. Sometimes I just get dressed before I leave.
I feel like you're calling me out a little bit there, Brett, because
What?
I do get down to my underwear in my truck every time I go.
No, no, I'm not calling out you. I
I
mean,
know, I'm
like I
joking.
said, it's a personal preference,
Yeah.
man. And once you have spent so much time in the woods, you get them preferences, and some people can just they get so hard headed because that's the way they do it.
Yeah.
That it becomes a religion to them almost.
Yep.
And that's just something that they believe in, and
Yeah.
that's kind of one of the craziest things when it comes to hunting. People just get so up in arms. Like I know some people live around here would have they congratulated me, but I know in the back of their mind they're like, "Why did this guy shoot a 130-inch deer?" Like, to them 130 they're passing them every time, but they
Yeah.
have shot a bunch of them. They continue to shoot big deer, and it's just something that they don't do. But I want to enjoy myself in the woods, and after having the deal happen in Missouri, I was ready to have a little bit of fun. That's why I got the
Yeah.
gun out, in the
Well,
130 I
and
was like, I'm dropping him.
that's actually like, I mean, you've heard me talk about it a million times on here is people commenting on other people's deer. And like when I posted, I put that spike that I killed on the bow hunting league team, like on
I
my
seen it.
team.
I seen it.
I posted it and I'm like, hey boys, I submitted him. He's probably like 30 inches, maybe. I mean, 15 inches. I don't know, but who
But you
cares?
were happy, and nobody blasted you on that
I
either.
know. I was so shocked, dude. That was the first time I think I've seen that on social media ever, where it's somebody, not even just myself, but somebody posted a photo like that with a small deer. I mean, I'll call it what it is. He looked like a cow. The neighbor called him Wolverine because of his spikes.
That's
And
awesome.
oh, it was pretty sick. Um, but I posted that, and I as soon as I clicked post, my first thought, I was like, man, all right, get ready for people to be like, oh, why'd you shoot that? Not a single one, not a single
No,
person said that. And I'm
bow
like,
hunting league's pretty good about that. That's why
yeah,
it's such a good group of guys to, a lot of them guys say it before, it's even a thing. They're there to have fun and
yeah,
and I'm one of those guys. You think I'm on there to I'm a very competitive person, but I know signing up for that, I
mhm.
don't have a chance in hell. Like
Oh yeah.
there's no way. There's guys shoot 5 deer in a season and they all average 170.
Well, look at Lee Hur. I mean, he killed a 253. Dude, I might as well just hang my bow up at that point. I can't even kill two deer that
Right.
equal that, much less that one deer size. Like, but you know what? I need to get with Ben. I need to tell him that we need to do a King of Spikes next year.
That
Yeah,
is pretty cool for
we
sure.
need to do that. I mean,
Speaking of really big deer, that picture that I sent you,
uh-huh.
that deer got killed in bow
Had a feeling.
season. 18-year-old kid,
Oh,
second deer ever. I
oh,
think it scored north of 217. I mean, awesome,
hold on.
awesome for the
Hold
kid.
on. Oh, wait a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen him. Let me go back and you can keep going. Oh my God.
Oh,
I can
he's
see
an
it.
absolute
I can
unit.
see it. And
Yeah, he's a big
didn't you
deer.
tell me you thought he was like 190s or something like that?
No, no, I thought he laughed at 200 inches. He's just wild. He's got crazy
Mm.
stuff, and he actually had two drops that he had broke off. I mean, he had stuff just coming everywhere, and it was like the worst kept secret in my county because a lot of people had pictures of it. He was actually had a pretty big travel route, but then he
Yeah.
started really getting zoned in on his core. And I wish knew the person, an older gentleman, I would say 60 years plus, missed it with a bow.
Oh
And
my
this
God.
and this kid had it at 40 yards behind his blind for several hours, I guess. Deer came out. I guess he shot and missed. Deer ran off with a doe, and the doe came back, and and he knew the yardage. Basically, he didn't have a rangefinder or something.
Yeah.
Deer came back, and he shot it.
You need to get that kid on the podcast.
I probably do.
You do.
He seems like a very humble young man. Comes from a great family that shoot really big deer. His
Yeah.
cousin just shot a absolute stud last night, probably north of 150 ish, 160 ish. I mean, they shoot really like when you hear that clan has shot one, you know it's big because
Yeah.
they grew up around it. Their mentality is they're not shooting anything, small. It's just like that's
You
something
said
that they do.
clan.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like a whole
Oh.
group of family. Like there's
Oh, okay,
probably
okay. Sorry,
no,
you
it's
said
not
clan.
nothing.
I was like, hold on a minute.
No,
Wait a
no, no,
minute.
no,
It's
no,
not that
nothing
type of
like that.
podcast.
No,
Let me
no, no,
get
no.
Tucker Carlson on here and we'll cover all that. But
No, just some really tight knit family. All the
yeah.
cousins and stuff, they all hunt together and stuff like that. They're very very good people.
So I have an idea. 2028, I will make the drive up to you.
Hmm.
We'll find a deer and we'll go kill a 200 that beats that 200. Deal?
Oh man, I don't know if
Got
you
it.
can
It's gonna
even,
happen. It's gonna happen.
man.
It's gonna happen. Look,
That's gonna
no
be hard to
negativity
beat
here.
there.
No, either that or we'll kill a 30-inch spike that's got 30
We
inches
should
on
have
each
a
side.
spike contest.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Like I had, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. And I talked about this, I think with TJ. I think it was with TJ a couple weeks ago. And I've had a complete change when it comes down to like what I'm actually after. I mean, obviously we all want to kill these big bucks, right?
Hmm.
And that's like the thing. Like I want to beat something bigger than him. And I mean, you can even see, like, I'll show you this deer over here I got for free. I think I've shown you before, but my parents gave me
Nice.
that deer
Hmm.
when I was like 14. I didn't kill it. That thing came out of a Longhorn Steakhouse. I don't even
That's
think it was a real
awesome.
deer.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man.
And it's so like, that's kind of like my, what's the word? Not standard, but like their goal, right? To get on a deer like that. And I've had them on camera.
Hmm.
But what's funny is I've been chasing that for the past 6 years. And then when that spike showed up and I actually killed it, I got emotional because there's 3 years of not killing a buck and chasing a specific buck for 2 years, losing that property. Now I'm in the process of trying to get it back, but I think that deer is dead anyway. And I had the realization after shooting that spike that I'm like, dude, Fred Bear was right. It doesn't matter what you shoot. I mean, it does in a sense of like, I guess, population control or whatever you want to talk or say it is, conservation, whatever.
Right.
Obviously, the guys that are trying to manage their farms, you want to grow a 200, don't kill a spike. It's that simple.
Right.
But we have become so desensitized to big deer that when somebody now says a 150 to me, I mean, it's cool and I'm happy for you. But unless there's a two in front of the rest of the numbers, it's not
Right.
really, it doesn't click the same.
Hmm. Right.
And I think after killing that spike, I was like, dude, I'd be fine with killing a spike every year. I'd shoot a little basket rack 100-inch 8 point. I
Hmm.
don't care. And I'm curious your thoughts on that. Like, do you think we're going to get back to the point where people are, you know, sick and tired of trying to chase the 200-inch dream, that they just go back to kind of like what the hunting public did when they first came out and they were just killing whatever they wanted and people were still giving them praise, but then they started going up and killing bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, do you think we're going to get back to the point where it's more about the
The
hunt?
hunt.
Yeah, the hunt basically. Then, oh, you killed another 200.
I don't think we will. I hate that. I wish we could get back to that. Like I've said before, I wish we could go back to that 60s, 70s, 80 mentality of like a northern deer camp where if
Yeah,
you was to tell somebody up in that camp at that time, if you were able to time travel and go back and be like, what'd you shoot a spike for? Them dudes would probably beat you up.
oh
Like,
yeah,
'cause they don't care. They're just up
yeah.
there to have a good time and blow off some steam and enjoy themselves. Half of them didn't even make it out the next morning because they played euchre and drank a case of beer the night before. But that happens too.
Man,
And
that hits close to home.
right, for sure.
Jeez.
But I wish we could get back to it. But with the age of social media and all that stuff, and it just a light bulb went off when you said that. Desensitized to a deer because it doesn't go over to like that's insane. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I think a lot of people are like that. Like, say I shoot at 130 or something. Like, I don't know, like you should that like I felt incredible after,
Yeah.
like you said, shooting a spike and getting emotional. When I shot that deer in Missouri, which was probably 145 inch 8 pointer, I
Yeah.
got emotional because
Yeah.
it wasn't about the deer though. It was about the journey because I've been trying to kill a public land buck in another state for years. And I
Yeah.
finally put it together. I finally put myself in the right spot. And then that happens to me. And like, and it will, bring the emotions out in you. But
Yeah.
it, so our opening weekend of gun, like I said, we had some buddies from Tennessee come up, and four of us shot bucks on opening day of gun season. And dude, it was the coolest thing ever. Everybody was excited. We were, stringing them up in the garage to clean them. Everybody's having a good time. We're cooking dinner, on the grill and stuff like that, having some beverages, watching college football, like
Yeah.
that atmosphere. If you can't enjoy that, or that doesn't like get you going, you just need to quit. You
Yeah.
just need to go find something else, pick up sewing or something, because this ain't for you.
Sewing. Oh my gosh. I hope my grandmother doesn't listen to this. She'll be like,
Right.
"Oh, I told him to do that years ago."
Right. Croquet or something,
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Golf.
I think she's actually making us a quilt again for like the fifth year in a row. So
Nice. Those are awesome. I like
shout out
those.
Nana.
There you go.
But yeah, man, I don't know. It's one of those things that like we both had Spook Span on the podcast, like our
Hmm.
respective podcasts, right? And
Right.
I going into that was not I wasn't nervous, but I was curious how he was going to like represent himself, right? Because I've seen him a million times on other stuff, but like getting to actually talk to him, the man has 34 or 36 deer, both between whitetail and muleys that are over 200.
That's crazy.
That's insane. I'm never going to do that. I'm never even going to probably, well, I'm not going to say I'll never see a 200, but I guarantee you if I do, and if I ever get, like, if God's like, hey, dude, you know what? Here's a little 200 for you. That'll be the only one I kill. I mean, 100%. I know that. And
Right.
it's interesting that, like, and maybe it just goes to talk or to sort of shed light on like what we do is, doing a podcast where you can get one guy on that's got 30 plus 200s, and that's insane. But then you can get the next week a guy that just killed, I think the week after I did the Spook Span episode, I had one of my buddies on who's brand new to bow hunting, and he and I killed those deer on the same exact day, same exact time. His was bigger, but it was only like maybe a 50-inch 6 point or 8 point or whatever.
Hmm.
It's still super stoked about that.
Oh,
And I
for
think
sure.
that just goes to show like you can still get hyped about 200s, right? Like Spook's a hell of a hunter. But you can also get stoked about a small deer that just made someone happy. Like the whole reason I got emotional over that buck was not really because, it was, I mean, yeah, I guess part of it was the fact it was 3 years since I killed Pickles, but it was because like I'll sort of just kind of tell you this part of the story where I shoot this deer, right? Before I shoot this deer, I think that night I had the biggest buck on the property show up, or way earlier that morning. And so I'm in the stand and like I, do my usual prayer and stuff like that. And I don't see anything for a couple hours. And then I see this one little spike come up from behind me on the ridge. And I mean, I thought it was a doe, honestly. It was that small. And somehow I guess he saw me. No idea how, but he got parallel to me, freaked out, ran back. And so once that happened, I just looked up. I was like, Jesus, I don't care if you send me this really tall spike or the biggest buck on the property, whatever it is, I'm going to shoot it. Like it's been 3 years. I'm done trying. Like I just want to kill another buck. And so I
Right.
do this call sequence and I called this deer in. I literally, did the doe bleat and then it just brat, brat, brat. And I watched this buck come out from the timber, come running in, had a Mexican standoff with him for what felt like 30 minutes. It was probably like 5. And then he turns broadside and just drew back and sent it. Well, I watched him run off, and he drug. Like I knew it was a good shot because as soon as he went to go turn, he must have tripped or his leg gave out or something because he literally was like digging dirt on his way out, and then he got up and ran off. So I called, everybody, and I'm on the phone with Thor, and he answers and I'm like, dude. And I was kind of starting to tell him the story. He's like, whoa, hold on a second. My wife's calling. Give me a minute. So I'm sitting there squatted down because I'm still shaking. I'm sitting there squatted down in the climber, just dead silent, just on the phone waiting. And I have this moment where I'm like, okay, I know he's not going to come back on for at least 30 seconds. So I'm going to send up another prayer because I've lost deer. The 2 deer that I shot before this one, I lost them. And so I'm sitting there on the phone. I just look down and close my eyes and I'm like, Jesus, please let me find this deer. I can't go another deer that I have shot and can't find it. I open up my eyes and I look to my left and I see him like 30 yards away, just kind of tail flicker and he's sort of acting weird. And then I watch him drop. And then I can hear him grunting because he's, as bad as it sounds, he is fighting to stay alive. I'll give him credit. The dude was tough.
Right.
And then I got to watch him do the kick. I saw the belly. And then I legitimately watched him take his last breath. And it broke after that, dude. I was a blubbering mess because I'm like, I can't believe how this just happened.
Right.
And that is what I learned is the most important part about this. It's not about the size of the deer. It's not about what recognition you'll get. It's not about thinking like CJ Alexander and being like, oh, I'm going to kill this giant. I'm going to get all this money. None of that matters. It's what happens in the woods between you, that deer, and the Lord that is what makes it so special. And I just think personally, the rest of us, because I'm not saying you're not in that category, I know you are, but the general population of hunters need to get back to that because big deer are cool, but killing deer is cool.
Well, what's crazy is, every hunter goes through progressions of being a hunter, trophy hunting, shooting anything it walks, yada, yada, yada. And with people that are just getting into it, they're seeing all this, right? It's coming from there's so much more intake on that compared to like when I first got into hunting. And the only real, stuff that we could watch were tapes and DVDs that you could get at Walmart watching, Real Tree Big Bucks and all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't coming from everywhere. And then you had your dad or your uncle or your grandpa or whoever took you. And most of those guys back then, it wasn't about shooting a big buck. It was all about the process of waking up, drinking your coffee, and you getting to the stand early and watching the sun come up, or the opposite, watching the sun go down. It was all about a process to them. And with social media, with all that other outdoor channel and all that kind of stuff that came with it, it just the decline of the actual process. Some of these people, it's crazy because I'm really good friends with the people that own the meat locker just down the road from my house, where very popular place to take deer this time of year. And you should hear some of the horror stories. These people are bringing in deer that haven't been gutted. I mean, just absolute horror stories because they don't know how to do it because they haven't been taught properly.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't usually gut my deer, but I'm also spoiled. It's not that I can't. It it's one of those things. If I don't need to, I'm not going to.
So
Right?
do you process your own deer?
No,
So you
no,
take it to the
I've got
processor with the guts
yeah,
still in it? They they
yeah.
they accept that?
Oh yeah. Chip doesn't care.
Really?
He gets an extra $40 out of it. It don't matter.
That's
Now
crazy.
I have gotten to the point though, honestly, this year where I'm like, yeah, maybe I probably should. And I think that happened because that buck that I killed. I mean, you should have seen me trying to get his fat butt in the truck because I've got a 6-inch lifted Chevy, dude, and it's very funny what happened, but and this is also how I figured out that I'm not in the best shape. I thought I was, but I'm
That'll always
apparently,
teach you for sure.
yeah, a 2-year-old buck can kick my butt. Um, but I had to drag this deer 30 yards. I'm like, I'm going up this small ridge, and I got him. I mean, I got him to the truck, but then I was standing there looking at him, and I'm looking at the tailgate, and I'm like, ain't no way I'm picking that thing up and putting him in there. So I drag him over to the tailgate. I am holding on to the rack, right? He still got guts in. He just died 30 minutes before this. And so I hop up on the truck. Well, now I'm like, kind of just barely on. I'm holding on to the rack and I try to pull him up. I tried to straight up squat and like get this buck to go up, and I couldn't do it.
No.
And so I let him back down, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, what can I do? Because I have no way of kind of pulling him up there. I'm not going to ask my 85-year-old grandfather to come help because, he's 85. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to, I can't. And yes, it was practical, but I was like, I can't call somebody and say, hey, man, can you come out here? I found the deer. I've got him by the truck. I just can't lift him. You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
we do. Our buddies here, we got a group of guys. That's absolutely what we do. Hey,
Really?
yeah, I mean, we all trust me. It'll be much lighter if you got the thing.
Oh, I know. I've done it.
uh, and I've seen a little trick actually. If you didn't have any help, to put like a piece of a board in the back of your truck,
Yeah.
and lay him on that plywood,
Mm,
and then just lift the other end and shove it in your truck.
yeah.
I've
I
seen
haven't
people
tried
do
that
that,
one
but
either.
we call buddies. Hey man, come help me drag it out. Come help me throw it in the back of the truck. There was no way I could have got my deer in the back of the truck, and I
Yeah.
don't. My truck's not lifted or anything, but there's no way that
Huh.
I could have got it in there by myself. I mean,
Well,
we're
and
talking
that,
about 180, 190 pound deer.
yeah. Well, and that's what I was worried about too, because I'm like, how am I gonna get if I shoot one of these big deer? I'm gonna have to gut them, and that's kind of the realization I had. Because what ended up happening was I'm still in the truck. I let this buck down. I get on my stomach, and I've got I'm not that big. I've got little arms. I'm like a T-Rex. I'm like 5'8". I've got my mother's build. If but long story short, Jessica wanted to paint my fingernails one time, and me being the good husband I am, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I thought it was going to be black. Ended up being a nice dark red, and my hands look like my mother's. So I'm not built big, right? So I'm on my anyway. I probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway, I'm
That's awesome.
it's for context, right? You got to make the
Right,
life
I
happy.
get what you're saying.
Yeah. But I'm on my stomach and I just reach my tiny little baby arms down and I grab this rack and I'm pulling him with all the strength that I've got. And I've got a good grip on him. Well, then I like shimmy my way down. I get both antlers. And there's the thing with this deer, because he's spiked, there's nowhere to grab. I'm like literally holding on to the tiny little nub
Stab
brow
your
tine.
hand.
Yeah, it's like two spikes. I mean, he is a spike, but so I grab both of them and I like shimmy up on my knees. And then I kind of maneuver a bit and I'm able to stand up. And now I've got this buck to where I sort of squatted him up and then I could get him back in. So I was like, all right, I at least could get this guy in, but I know if I shoot one of these 150 plus pound deer, those guts got to come out.
Oh, for sure.
So
Our processor place turns people down, like if you
yeah,
don't take care of it that way, because and like I don't know exactly the exact science with it, but if you do gut it, if the back hams are touching for a long period of time, it can like ruin the meat basically.
really,
Yeah, like I'll send you some gruesome pictures that they've sent to me before, just when we were bullshitting about it. Like gangrene, almost like created like green pus pockets
ooh,
and like very nasty stuff. But like I don't know that they that's just a normal thing around here, is to field dress your deer on the spot, and we've gotten so good at it that we can do it in like less than 5 minutes probably, and it's all intact. It's not
yeah,
like everything's going every which direction. We reach up and cut that diaphragm, cut the esophagus, and then just basically pull it all
pull it
out
out.
intact. It's pretty easy, really.
Yeah, I mean, and like Pickles back here, he was actually the last year that I gutted because where he was, I knew I wasn't going to drag him out. Even with the help that I had, it just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Plus, I think he was the let me think one, two, three. Yeah, he was the fourth deer that I'd ever killed. First deer with a bow and all of that. So I was like, I got that's all I knew at the time, right? And I openly say like I've gotten spoiled to the point where I just haven't had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to because it'll be easier on me. It makes it cheaper for sure.
For sure.
And when I go to public, I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you. I pulled out my gutting knives because I've got two of them. One of them had deer fat still caked on the tip of it, and it took me
That's
20
awesome.
minutes each side to scrub it off, and it still isn't fully off.
That's
And then I had to
crazy.
sharpen them. So it was one of those deals where I'm like, man, I really just need to do it.
Heck, where
So
I'm going this weekend, if I happen to shoot one where I'm going, we've already talked. I had a conversation with my buddy earlier about. I was like, "You want me to bring the deer cart?" He said, "Buddy, where we're going, if we kill one, we're probably going to have to quarter it out." I'm basically hunting a mountain where I'm
yeah,
going, so it's like I have no other choice than to probably cut it in half or quarter it out,
yeah,
which is going to suck because if I kill anything big enough worth mountain, I'm basically going to have to cape it out right there on the
yeah.
spot, basically.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to do the same thing in Colorado.
Oh, for sure. You're gonna
I
have to get
mean,
real handy with it, have bags on you and all that
yep,
stuff.
yeah. I'm glad it's 2 years away because the tag's not super cheap, the flight's not going to be super cheap. and then all the other gear I'm going to need. So it is one of those deals where it's like I've had it easy the past couple of years, and this year was sort of a kick in the nuts where it's like, okay, you don't know everything. You don't know what these deer are going to do. They'll disappear on you, and some years we're going to have major acorn crops. Some years it's going to be hot. Some years, and I mean, dude, I'm not getting any younger. You know,
Right.
I skateboarded for 12 years. My body is not where it should be. When I
Mine
squat
either.
down, my knees click, both
Right.
of them. And sometimes I can't get back up. That's how bad it is.
I
So,
totally understand. And
yeah,
to go back a little bit on what you were saying with all that being one of your bucket list hunts and you're getting geared up for it, um, I'm less than a year away from probably one of my biggest bucket list trips. I get to hunt Kansas next year. I
ooh,
am so, and I get to hunt Iowa the year after that. So,
oh, dude,
so the next 2 years for me, I'm getting to check those off the list, and I cannot be more excited on to go
yeah.
on one of those hunts.
Okay, well, when you go to Kansas, you know Kansas can produce. So if you and look, I know we talk about antler size and stuff, but dang it, man, if you don't shoot something that the score doesn't start with the two, I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. If you see a 150 out there, you better send it.
Oh,
I
I'm sending it for sure.
yeah,
Probably in
I,
both of those states, so Iowa too.
yeah, I'd be so mad if you text me and you're like, "Yeah, man, I saw a 160, but I heard a rumor about a 240." Brett, I'd fly out there myself and pimp slap you just out of pure
You
anger.
defriend me on Facebook.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't block you or nothing. But I would literally get a white glove. I'd go old school. I'd be fancy with it. I'd just get the white glove and take it
Where's my
off.
baby powder?
Yeah, no, not even that. I'd be like colonial times. I'd have that white glove and I'd take it off on the middle finger, hold it, flop it out, and just bah, right across the face. And give you a bone.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm telling you, bro. I guess to sort of wrap it up, man. I really think that our hunting community in general as a whole and the whole nation needs to really kind of take a look at itself
Hmm.
and realize what the road we're going down, right? We have become, so like I said earlier, so desensitized to 150-inch deer that, and I always use that as like the standard, I guess,
Hmm.
because I'll be honest, some of my buddies will send me I actually, Thor sent me a photo of this really, really nice buck at his club. At first, I was thinking 150s. Then I look at it this morning, I was like, yeah, it's 130s. The feeling I got when I realized that, I didn't like. And this is me
Right.
having already changed my mind on this stuff, but still the internal, like, primal instinctive feeling I get when I'm like, oh, I thought he was 150, he's 130. Who cares? A 130-inch deer anywhere is a nice buck.
Hmm.
So, like, I think they say the average mature whitetail is only 125.
Well,
So,
they say that what is it like 10% of bow hunters never kill up a deer over Pope and Young. We'll just say that. I
yeah,
think that's what it is actually. Like 10% of bow hunters kill a deer that scores Pope and Young,
yeah.
which
I mean,
is
dude,
crazy because I got like four of them.
well, you're the outlier. You're the one.
No, I am not
I'm
special
kidding.
by any
I'm
means.
kidding.
I've been very, very fortunate
Yeah.
the last
Well,
several years.
that's true though, because the dude that helped me get into hunting, who I consider to be one of the best bow hunters I know, he's only killed one or two. Actually, I know one of his deer was gross 132, and he looks it. I mean, honestly, kind of looks a little bit bigger than that, but I'm also not great at scoring, right? Like I thought that deer back there was 125 inches in velvet, and then he shed it, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
130.
Velvet will definitely
Oh, it was tricky.
play mind tricks
Yes.
on you for sure.
But like I think people, and it's not a knock on, like Seek One or Realtree or Bone Collector, but people watch those guys kill giants and they're like, oh, I want to do that. Lee killed a 184. I know exactly where he was. I drove past it. I drive past it all the time. But just because he's able to do that doesn't mean the average guy is going to be able to do that. And I think we just all, as a whole, need to get back to the point where it's like, if you've got a guy who's been hunting for 20 something years, I know one dude super famous in our like area named Warren Womack. And I can't tell you how many times on Facebook he has posted spikes. And then he tells the whole story. It's like he's creating a virtual log of every deer that he's killed. He's killed over, shoot, man, probably like 300-400 deer in his lifetime.
No.
nobody's saying that he's out here killing 200s, but people still respect him because the dude is consistent. He literally puts out everything that he's done. He posts a spike or he posts a basket rack or a forky or something. That's, I feel like, the type of people that we need to sort of bring back into the limelight and be like, yo, yes, the 160s, 150s, and plus are cool. But who wants to wait 5 years to shoot a deer? I don't.
Right.
I
I
want to
think
kill one
that's
every year.
why I think that's why sometimes I enjoy the turkey hunting community more than the deer hunting community because it's not about inches. It's not about how much your bird weighed or how big the beard was or how big the spurs were.
Yeah.
It was about you waking up that morning, hearing them birds gobble on the roost, you playing the game with him, calling him in, shooting him at 30 yards with your shotgun or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a whole different community compared to deer because a lot of people do base. I mean, look, how many times in this episode have we referred to the inches on a whitetail? You know what I mean? Like it's just something what we base it off of.
Yeah.
Yes, we talk about it for an hour plus each week, but I think that's just because we're used to hearing those numbers all the time, so that
Mm-hmm.
it puts us in that kind of ball game. But I definitely wish we could go back to like when I first started hunting and bow hunting back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and get back to that mentality.
Yeah. I think we're going to. I've heard it so many times on other podcasts, and I've said it a million times here. I mean, look, man, if I'm the only one in the next 10 years saying, yeah, man, we just need to stop worrying about these inches, and all you hear everywhere else is, yeah, man, we got a 280 or whatever it is.
All right.
Cool. I hope you kill him, but I'm going to be happy with my 110-inch deer. I'm still chasing a 110. Hell, I'm chasing a 105. He's 102. So I
And you're
got a long
happy
way to
as
go.
ever.
But look, man, I want to thank you for coming on. Honestly, I love getting you on this podcast. I feel like we always get way down in the rabbit hole, and it's a lot of fun.
That's always the best
Um,
part.
yeah, right. I mean, I look, if I didn't have my daughter to put to bed and have to get up at 4:30 tomorrow morning and a dog, well, really three dogs to feed and just a whole zoo to take care of,
Right.
I'd stay down here a whole nother hour and find another rabbit hole. But
Right.
yeah, before we hop off here, man, tell everybody where they can find you, and we need to set up another one. I would say in like the next couple of months, once deer season's over, to like a full season recap.
For sure, absolutely. You can find my personal stuff, Brett Morris. You can find me on Facebook, but you can find Blue River Bow Hunting just about anywhere else. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube's the biggest one. I would love for everybody to go check the YouTube channel out. We actually just put a hunt out. One of our guys, Adam, kind of had a season recap. Some absolute beautiful footage of some great deer here in Indiana, and go check it out for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, y'all go do that. I can tell you their content is awesome. I watch the videos every time Brett sends it to me. If I have time, which I have not had time lately, but
Right.
I do try. I do try. But yeah, man, seriously, thank you for coming on, and I guess till the next one.
Absolutely. See you.